Hello, brothers. This is Mr. Ellis. I've promised that I'd give you a brief video concerning the lecture that we had today about methods. And I will start by telling you that I have created two methods. One, as I told you in class, returns a value, and that would be known as a function. And the other accepts values and doesn't return, the output is created right in the method, and we consider that to be a procedure. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to describe first the headers. Okay, and then we'll start with the procedure header, or the method that does not return a value. This is the header of the method. Okay, as you note, this method is outside of the main. Now, different parts of the header here. The access modifier, this one is public. There are three access modifiers that we'll become familiar with. One is public, and that means that everyone can use this function. Okay, even if you're not in the package and you have uh, permissions, access to it, you can use this method. Okay, uh, private. Private is a method that is only used by the other members of the class. So if there's other methods in this class, or you want to use a statement, call it inside the class, you are able to access this method. Protected. Protected is an access modifier that says you're able to use this method if you're in the same package as this method. Okay? Access modifiers. Static. Static is simply a storage device. It is in a method. It is a class method. It says that you don't have to instantiate the object to use the method. You can have static variables also. So static really is something that we'll hold our explanation of until later. Void, in the case of a method, void means that it does not return a value. Whatever output comes from here is either put in the output stream when it's called, or put in the output stream inside the body of the method. The name of the method is next. This particular method is called maxNum, and what it does is it takes three numbers, integers, as its parameters input into the method, and it returns, or it will decide which one of those numbers is the largest, and it'll print that number to the screen. Okay, now I've, in my main method, set it up by declaring three variables, assigning values to them, and then I call, this is the method call, maxNum. I call maxNum with three integers, which serve as parameters for the method, input to the method. Now, uh, I'm sure you can see these numbers: 166, 25, and 215. Now, I'm not doing this to prove that the algorithm works. I'm just gonna go over quickly. It is an if statement that's used, and the if statement goes like this: if A is greater than B, then you want to check to see if A is greater than C. If A is greater than C, then A is the larger number. If A is not greater than C, we want to check to see, we'll say, sorry, that C is the larger number. Okay. If A is not greater than B, then we want to check to see if C is greater than B. If C is greater than B, then C would be the larger number. If all else fails, then B would be the larger number. Okay, I'm going to run this just to prove that it works. And I should get 215 as the larger number. I'm running it, and sure enough, we get 215 is the larger number, our largest number. Okay, now note, hint, and I just declared this in class. I talked about this in class. If there is no variable that gets the value of the method, then that method does not return a value. It's most likely going to be void. Next, we're going to look at a method that returns a value. Okay, and similarly, I did some math with 3 variables. I declared 3 doubles. Okay, assigned values to those doubles, and then I called a method called calc that calculates the average. I have its return value placed in AVR, and then in the main method, you can see in the main method, I have an output statement, printf, that outputs the average. Okay. Now, this call is to a method that returns a value. It takes 3 doubles as parameters. So its parameters, and I'm going to start on this end this time, its parameters are declared just like we declared variables here. We declare the parameters here, okay? And it's positional. X goes to A, Y goes to B, Z goes to C. In the method header, I want to look at it. It is public, again, static, and the return type is declared as double. Instead of void, which means that it doesn't return a value, I have a declaration that says it's going to return a double in that position. And the name of the excuse me, the name of the method is, of course, avcal. Okay. All it does is I've declared a variable and I calculated the average of 3 numbers, and then the return variable is the variable that holds the calculation or the result of the calculation. And if I didn't have that return in the method, program would not work because I have declared double. And if you notice, when I put my cursor on return, it highlights the return value. All right, let's run this, see if it works. And it says that the average is 22.4. I wanted that to be 1, but that's good. 3.2 is just as good as 3.1 because it has a 0 on it. Okay. Now, the output for this is created in the main. A variable is used to hold the return value of avcal. So it has to have a return type declared in its header. Okay. This has been Mr. Ellis talking about method headers and the use